Hey everybody, how is it going? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I don't know that this live stream went out to anybody necessarily. Like you guys, maybe you just found it randomly, but so far there's nobody here. And I put it out an hour ago that it would be going live at 5:20, and then I moved it to 5:30, just because I had some thick-lipped gouramis that were spawning, and I wanted to film it. So yeah, we'll probably go take a peek at them and see if they're still up to it. Hold on. We got noise coming up. I don't want this. I don't know why my phone's making noise, but we don't want to be put out of business because of someone else's ad running on. Hey, you gonna go run away? All right, go run away. So, anyways, how's everybody doing? Aloha, Linda, 3G. Let's see here. Outside In, Aquatics, YFI, Yellowstone Aquatics. Welcome, guys. It's kind of nice just being this intimate little group. So, I also gone and done in the ponds, which are absolutely having a second explosion of the fall. They're absolutely exploding with there's oddly mosquito larvae that are all the size of the ones from the spring that just didn't hatch, that never turned into flying mosquitoes. And I think they're just stuck as whatever this form in between is, and they're really good for your fish. I mean, they're full of nutrients, they're real meaty, and they don't hatch out. So whatever was left in my tubs, I went and tried to hunt these down one by one. They're like, it's like they couldn't molt, or maybe they didn't have enough GH or KH, I don't know. But they're stuck in this kind of roly-poly little spinning ball phase. And then other than that, I went to my tub that has Daphnia, and I also went to the tub that has all the Cyclops and Triclops, and just got a big old sample of it all. And so we've got a pretty good, let's see, there's a lot of condensation. It's only 30 degrees out right now. And last night it was down into the high 20s. So we're just below 0 Celsius. So it's kind of interesting that all the ponds, which had ice on them this morning, also are doing so well and are so active. Here you can actually see you can see the Cyclops. They move very interestingly. They move like little go-karts or little speed racers, and they're kind of teardrop shape. And if you see a female, which I haven't seen any yet, but if you see a female, a lot of times they'll have egg sacs hanging off behind them. And then the other guys, the other little iso, well, not isopods, what are they called? Seed shrimp is what they're called, like commonly, but I'm spacing on their on their scientific name. Ostracods. And the ostracods are a mix of some of the things you see. So let's hold it up and see if we can see. So that like 10 times zoom. So plus the glass jar is giving us kind of a refractive thing. But baby fish, nano fish, oh my gosh, they love this. They absolutely love this kind of stuff. And yeah, it is possible. People always ask me, well, but couldn't you get, a nematode? Couldn't you get worms, or couldn't, like, that's bad, isn't it? And the answer is yes. Conceivably, you could get leeches or a nematode, or like a flatworm. But honestly, I've never had that be the culprit of a tank getting any of those things. And I would 100%, I mean, 10 times rather have water from a pond, especially one where I made it. It's only a year or two old. And I'd much rather use that water than, for instance, going to Petco or PetSmart or my local pet store and even getting a little bit of water from a bag that you bought the fish in, for instance. Like, yeah. So, Slossers, what's going on? Cave of Wonders, Andy, hello. feed those skeeters today or they will probably be flying tomorrow. We were just talking about that right as I started, and they won't be. They're the weirdo ones that never hatch. They've been like this for like 2-3 months, so kind of cool. But anyways, those are just in my tubs. So I've got an 80-gallon, a 40-gallon, and some 15-gallon tubs out there, and a 5-gallon bucket. And all of them have different pH. Different. Some of them. One has moss. One has peat moss, and it's real acidic. One is full of crushed coral, and then I basically just go get my whatever I want from one of the tubs, and then put them into one jar. So I don't know if you guys want to, but I was thinking we could feed some fish and just kind of watch up close with them and chat as I do that. Chris, what's up? Shady Grady, Ben Chester, hello. Happy day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, day after Thanksgiving, everyone. How was everyone's Thanksgiving? Uh, Everybody have whatever they wanted from it, whether it was to be left alone or whether it was to be surrounded by everyone they know. I mean, let's wish that everybody got what they wanted from it. Again, I want to thank you guys for the super chats last time. I literally went out, got a mouse the time before last, and now the mouse is really, really, really helping me navigate on this computer, even though I need to get a new computer. I was looking for deals from the whole Black Friday stuff, but I refused to go actually out and be a part of it. But I did look online. The 186 element, what's up? Jeff Kane, what's up? Cody V, hello. We got Big Tank Hank. Larissa, hello. So we got lots of good people in here for sure. Mi Ling, what's going on? Welcome. Michelle Crisco, hello. And I also just saw, oh yeah, Eurogupper. Time flies when you're talking about fish. Member for 18 months. I think that's 18 months. Plus, you probably have like signed up and had to get a new card or whatever. So thank you. I mean, the memberships, they really do help. I think right now we're sitting at almost 200 members. And I've tried to make it $1.99 because, I know everybody has a million memberships already and subscriptions and things, but seeing as this is now my full-time job, fish related stuff, and I do some graphic design projects still as a side thing, but I'd like to start putting my time into working on a book a little more seriously about kind of I've thought about a few ways of doing it. One would be species at a time and telling stories that involve like certain naturalists. And then so you go from gouramis and you talk about the guys who went and explored those and talk about the 1920s and 30s when they were being explored. And then you'd move on and talk about, for instance, like bettas and go back to the ancient history. So I thought about doing it like that, like really not chronologically ordered, but by species of fish or groups of fish. And then I also thought about doing it by chronological order. Um, Easily now, I could sit down and write the book that does not exist anywhere yet on the earliest form of aquaculture across every continent. So I've definitely like made it a passion of mine to track down the very first form of fish husbandry, keeping fish and breeding fish intentionally done on every continent. And right now Australia is winning. The land down under, they have evidence 46,000 years to 49,000 years old. The dates now are pretty rock solid somewhere in there that it they intentionally set up streams that had basically a funnel system that made it so that certain fish would get stuck by size in certain locations in the stream. And then those pens had other pens up on the hill that were dug out and hand filled probably with like baskets or something. But they weren't a part of the river where they would raise the fish and then go collect them easily, probably right before they'd harvest them. And that is so far before any other time in human history where you can put a date on it, like as far as we know, no technology changed, short of stone tools. Like, oh, this arrowhead's got a little more of it's serrated on one side, or it's got fluting on one side. That's the kind of stuff we think about back then. So to see that actual complex community planning, working with the substrates and the soils, and working with the migratory patterns of fish, and understanding the behavior of fish, and like how to funnel in without any metal, or no modern technology whatsoever, or substances that are synthetic or even like woven, as far as we know. They're just you know using physics and the fish and behavior and getting them in there. Pretty cool. So, but anyways, back to the point, which was, I do appreciate greatly all of y'all, like Linda and Nano Aquarium Guy and Jeff, calling you guys out because I love y'all. Patty, what's going on? Good to see you, Patty. And yeah, I'm sure there's more of you in here too. Just Joe, also awesome. You're in here, and you's a member. Christopherson Ronald, or Ronald. I like Ronald, even though, yeah. Andy, also. Larissa Meeks. Who else is a member in here? But yeah, all y'all, Eurogupper, aloha. Um, y'all are doing great and supporting the channel. I mean, I just wanted to say, like, how much whether it's a $1.99 membership or whether people decide that they want to do more, but having that is like, it's a quarter of the revenue for the channel with 200 of y'all, and that is so incredible. Like, when I'm have some sort of health issue or whatever has come up a few times in the 8 years, 7.5 or 8 years of the channel now. It's just like, to know that there's a set amount that, yes, this will cover the payment on the house, X amount of it, to know that, because YouTube is very odd in that you're working for a boss that you've never met, that can fire you at any time or give you strikes if you're lucky. But they can, for instance, if you show an NFL game or broadcast the playback or a UFC fight, anything like that, you will automatically lose your entire account, all your stuff, and you won't have access to go back and download it either. So it's pretty crazy. And one thing that I mentioned a few times a little bit ago that I need to get back to is the thought that I want to back up all the content on the channel for sure. Yeah, so there's that. Patty, you've got a fishfam.link question. So does that mean you have a fishfam.link profile with the channel, which means you have a channel? Is that what I'm hearing? Jeff, Bambi, what's up? Slossers, is fish and steroids a topic, a thing? Yes, it is. Asha Llewellyn, hello, welcome. And yeah, I was trying to think, guys, of something to do, and I can do giveaways as we get into the holiday season here, especially for members. What'll probably be is a giveaway for anybody, but if you're a member, you get 10 times the random statistical drawing potential. So if I say, comment on this video the word blank to get entered into the contest, and members, as someone with the membership says it, I'll go through all the comments, like all 400 or whatever, and I'll put down, I'll count them up, or I guess it'll tell me the total, but then I'll go through and see how many members were on there, and I'll take that total and I'll assign a number to it, and I'll get a random thing to put all the names in, and each name will get numbers 1 through 11 if you're a member or a subscriber. a member and subscriber, I should say. And if you're just someone who's passing by and wants to win something, then you'll just get number 12 or number 1. You won't get a set of 11 drawings. Then I'll do a random number generator, and that will pick one of the numbers, and then I'll look back at my Excel sheet that has all the people who did. So stuff like that. I was trying to think of how I can do it like fair or whatnot. Alexandre Valiquet, why can't I talk tonight? Alexandre Valiquet. Hello, welcome. Let's see. A citizen, Alex, I had a lot of trouble growing aquarium plants using rainwater. No problem. Plants, big problem. Had to go back to town water. Yes, your water from rain. One, it can have possible pollutants, so it can be acidic. Like remember when acid rain was a big thing, a big worry. Well, it still is. It's just it's gotten less, but if you live in a lot of parts of the world, especially in industrial parts of the world or parts of the country, you could be next to a place that's putting a bunch of sulfur or a bunch of whatever into the air, and that can make it acidic. Now, generally plants like it slightly acidic, but they don't like it caustic. They don't want like a chemical burn. So there's that. There's also the more likely scenario that you just have really soft water from rain, which is essentially distilled water, RO water. And if you weren't consciously adding lots of fertilizers, root tabs, or liquid fertilizers to your tank, you basically just have water with nothing in it. So that's probably why the plants weren't doing well. That would be my guess. It's my cat. Hold on, guys. My wife's not letting her out. Come here. What are you doing? Why are you meowing? Oh, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. What kind of cat? Wow, you are dark too. You don't even show up on the camera. What kind of cat opens a biscuit, a cheddar biscuit, and starts eating like a third of my, or well, a quarter of my freaking cheddar biscuit? She chewed it out of the plastic. Humph. Yeah, very odd. The cat. She's gonna drive me insane one of these days. Oh no, I'm upsetting other people's kitties. Yeah, poor Silky. She's so neglected. Whenever it's freezing, I go get her and find her gallivanting around the neighborhood, and I bring her in, and then she meows and meows and meows. Put her outside, meows and meows and meows. Let her back in, meows and meows. Now I just let her in, let her warm up. Even if she's whining, I'll like if I give her attention, she stops whining. But yeah, she'll just cry and cry and cry for no reason. So check this out. If you weren't here, I was just talking about my ponds. My ponds, my ponds, my ponds, my lake, some other stuff and things. But check out the color, that red on the Daphnia. So that's a Daphnia, that little red one up by the pieces of duckweed. And then the one spinning around, those are stunted mosquitoes that will never hatch, probably. They're just like stuck in their late spring, late summer stages. So I like feeding these more. But of course, you don't know which ones are stuck until they've been stuck for a long time. And they'll actually die a lot of times. You'll see them floating, stuck while they're trying to shed, like in their shed. Which is when I think they're supposed to turn into a mosquito. But then also in this same culture, you can see all the cyclops, and the Daphne are the little dots that are moving around like a glitch, like a little jitter, and then The ones that have a tail on them, those are your cyclops. And they've got like a long tail on them and 2 split antennas. Let's see if we can get it to zoom any closer. Hold on. See if we can use the jar again to zoom in on the thing. Yeah, there goes a little Daphnia. Most of these are really young Daphnia. And yeah, these all came out of 2 different ponds in the backyard that are just big bucket containers essentially. So we're gonna feed the fish with these in a moment, probably, if you guys are game for it. So what's going on? What's up, Luke? Oh, holy cannoli! It never tells me, but this time I see it. I see it. Thank you so much, Jeff Kane. Man, you are the goat of that. And also Shady Grady, I don't know if you got one of those memberships or if you joined too, but regardless, welcome and thank you. Glad to have you come to the channel. And now they've made it really hard to do this, which is frustrating. But you just go to a channel. You can't search through just the videos, at least on mobile anymore, which is really frustrating. So you got to enter the channel and then search the channel name and the videos. So that's why it's good that I'm now at Fishery, I guess. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. 2 Foot Chopsticks. What's up? That's an interesting name. Eastern Iowa. Well, hello. But Jeff, seriously, man, thank you. You're always going above and beyond supporting the channel and the community and giving other people a chance to access those 200 audio episodes that they probably haven't heard. In fact, I'm almost positive they haven't heard, as well as other posts, sometimes behind the scenes, just PDFs and stuff like that, whatever. Those. How does the fish fit in a needle? Or is, oh, Gary, what's up? So yes, people do actually use steroids and fish. It's usually in the, yeah, you know what she did? She stole the biscuit off the counter. I didn't know what she grabbed, and she ate like a quarter of it. So basically, they take the fish and they encourage them to spawn with hormones or with like fish growth hormone or with testosterone or estrogen, and a number of other things. Anabolic steroids as well. They'll use on like arowanas and pacus and stuff like that. So yeah, it's interesting. Hey, what's up, Nirvana Aquatics? Good to see you. Passing Wind, what's up? Let's see here. At Aloha. Oh, you guys are talking about a video, huh? Yeah, I have a couple videos. One's aging an aquarium. Another one, we was like, let's play with the microscope. But I haven't done a microscope video in a while, and I kind of want to. Maybe we should do another one soon, like looking at anoxic versus aerobic soil, for instance, like bacteria and stuff like that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Leave in comments after the fact, after the show. That's helpful. But another thing I wanted to mention before, I am going to tell you guys a couple different how our rotifers, fairy shrimp, and troops. But probably triops or something is what they meant to say. For culturing and fish food, rotifers are absolutely wonderful, especially for like little gobies and nano fish. And then fairy shrimp, depending on what you mean by that, they're basically like little brine shrimp. Or you could be talking about, sometimes people are talking about the little ghost shrimp or grass shrimp. Those are also fine. And yeah, they're good. They're good nutrients. There is a exoskeleton on any invertebrate, and so you don't want one that's too crazy armored, because it's just a lot of junk to um, digest. But most of them will be fine. It's like brine shrimp. In fact, Daphnia pound for pound, I believe, when I was doing the big deep dive into brine shrimp, because a lot of people think brine shrimp are best when they hatch. And that's true. Right when they hatch, they're their best because they lose their shell and they haven't eaten their yolk. So if you can get to them in like 3 hours, excellent. But after a 2 to 4 hour window of hatching, they actually use their yolk. They use it all up by 36 hours. And if they are using their yolk up, it's no longer calories you can put into your fish. And it's something like 30% of the nutrients just disappears out of it into energy and growth. And also it collects to make an exoskeleton is where the energy is going, and the mouth hasn't even evolved yet, or grown yet, I guess I should say, developed. So until 36 hours after brine shrimp hatch, they can't eat. So they're, from the time they're born to the 36 to even up to 48 hours, they don't have a mouth to eat things. So even if you put all the best food in there for them to eat, like spirulina and things like that, they can't eat it yet until around the 2 day mark or just before. And then you can gut load them and make them pretty nutritious, even though they've got this big old exoskeleton. But if you just have like mid-sized to adult brine shrimp, they're not the best nutrition for your fish. They're fine, but they're just not up there, pound for pound with the best. But Daphnia are supposed to be very good. Cyclops, try triops, which are very armored, but for larger fish, they're pretty good. But yeah, holy smokes, we got another big old kind gesture. Thank you. Should make a good graphic chart of identifying life in pond water. Yeah, I could do that. That is a good idea. Like in reference to aquariums, like what is what's the word? Relevant to aquarium. But thank you so very much for the super chat and for being a member. I mean, wow, thank you. It means a lot. It does. Especially because right now, like, I was just wanting to, I don't want to like harp on this, but um I was just going to buy a mixer. Like, I need to buy a computer, which will be expensive to get a decent, video editing, 4K video editing, because I'd like to upload in 4K. But also, then I need to get the little sound mixer and some software for that, for a mic, and then I need to get the wireless mic packs, and I want to start doing the mic independent of the video, so that I can mix in the sound and things like that. I hope you guys notice I've been doing a lot more editing. It definitely adds a lot more time, but I think it's worthwhile. I think I can pack a lot more information in the same time period by doing that on the recent videos. So yeah, going G, what's up? Lane, hello, Bionic Bigfoots. Let's see here. I saw someone else sneak in. Yeah, I do need to do a video on pH, GH, and KH. That's one that I meant to do a long time ago, and I never got around to it. I made a video on how to test those things at home using red onion or cabbage or blueberries. Basically, how to make your own pH reagent test solution that was surprisingly effective. You kind of have to calibrate it knowing the pH, though, so that's the downside. You kind of need a kit to start. So go find a friend, or go to your local fish store, or maybe pool supply store or whatever. Fish Addict, what's up from Cape Town? Oh, what's going on? I would love to go down there. I know Chris Biggs was just down there, the cichlid expert from Canada. He was just touring down in South Africa and staying in Cape Town in particular for like 2 weeks. Um, very cool. Uh, Russell, thank you. Russell says, I've been slowly getting through your videos. I do find your videos most informative. Thank you. At least you have the decency to answer all the comments, unlike other big channels. You know, a lot of channels use bots or AI to answer comments, or they hire people. And it's me. I make sure that every day I put in 4 to 6 hours. Like that is part of my job. So when you guys are, super chatting or becoming members or any way that you're supporting the channel, just watching it, just watching the channel, the ads or whatever, all of that goes towards, it's not just making videos, right? Like the rest of my time, like if I don't do that for a day, if I don't answer emails for 2 hours of the day, I get so far behind, and it piles up. So while I'm not complaining about that in the least, I'm so grateful that I get to do that lately. But it's just one of those things where it's like now been on the edge of being viable, and obviously everything in life gets more expensive, and then you get bills dumped on you. Hospital bill, you get things dumped on you unexpectedly, and then you're like, okay, well, just went from being like just enough money to just not enough money. So yeah. Anyways, I'm done complaining or whining about that. It's not what I want to be sounding like. But yeah, you have a point. A lot of people don't do that on their channels, or they don't give thorough answers. And I really do try, because I want that to be free and accessible. Like I want that to be a service that the people who want to chip in are essentially helping provide to the community, and they have been doing that successfully for 2 years now. I mean, I really do try to get to most of them, and a lot of people say, well, your channel's not as big. Well, my channel's actually doing, you guys, because you rock, watch about as much as your average 250,000 subscriber channel, and we're at 50 like 3,000 subscribers right now. So that both is flattering, and ad revenue likes that pound for pound, so I do too. But it's also, it shows that you guys are engaged, you guys have questions, you guys answer each other's questions, and that is like what's so special to me about the community that's exists here. That's pretty unique. I mean, because you can go to forums on other channels, or they might chime in here and there, but it's definitely not consistent at all. Definitely, you couldn't have a conversation. Like people message me, hundreds of messages pile up in Instagram all the time, and I'm like, I'm just not Gen Z, I guess. But that's like it piles up there, piles up Facebook, places like that, and I'm like, have you commented at all or emailed me? And they're like, no. But I saw your profile on here, and while I guess that's the way of the world, I guess I'm a total boomer, and uh, that's just not how I roll. So I just don't like the Instagram as much for chat and stuff. It's a little difficult for me. Um, let's see here. Gary Stein, thank you for hitting that like button. Paul Sotero, what's going on? Hello, fish nerds. James Young, what's going on? Wonder why Kermescents aren't popular anymore. I was wondering that too, James. I was on Dan's Fish, which, oh, by the way, guys, I have some kind of cool. Yes, aquatic moose. Being alive is expensive these days. Um, if you want to remain alive, that is. Like, just getting alive, I guess, is pretty free. Blue Violet, hello, also welcome. And Elaine, hello. Um, but yeah, definitely, Alexandra. I love cutting test strips in half down the middle. I've even ventured to do it in thirds, but it doesn't really hold up on most brands. And also, yes, pH paper. If you can get like litmus paper, you can cut that stuff into exactly like you said, 1 millimeter squares to just drop a drop of water on for pH, as long as it's sensitive paper. And you can buy that stuff by like sheets, and that's just as good if you're just trying to find pH as to the test strips, if not better. Um, but yeah. Uh, 2 Foot Chopsticks says, "Thank you. You're one of the few. The point of being public in the hobby is to share unique experiences and lessons with the community. Not enough YouTubers are respecting their parasocial relationships." Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, it's so weird because I don't know my viewers, and I'm talking to them, and they know everything about me, or they know all about this aspect that I put out. But for me, like, what you see is what you get on here. I'm like, hey guys, I broke my teeth, and I've been having to get them fixed, and got the bottoms all done, but I can't afford the tops yet. And I'm always whining about something. But if it makes you feel better, it's because you guys are my actual friends. You guys are my social life for uh by and large. I love being able to go nerd out, or I can't sleep, my back's hurting, and I go do 3 or 4 hours of reading on, oh, I don't know, how salinity has impacted the subtropical regions as the glaciers have melted, and or as wind patterns have changed out of the Sahara. They don't drop as many phosphates and salt uh, molecules down, and how that is impacting sea life, whatever, and then I can come on here and be like, hey guys, you'll never guess what's going on with phosphorus and storms off of the west coast of Africa, and what it has to do with your fish or something like that. Uh, yeah, curviceps. I don't know. They're just not popular. I mean, same with gold. What are they called? Golden. The D word that I can't say. I don't want to get booted. But Snow White and the Seven Ds. The supposedly that's a derogatory word. So even though it's in the actual official names of many different creatures, uh, the D cichlids, the small cichlids, they have come and gone in popularity. Like what is popular, and it is kind of odd because also the black line cichlid is a wonderful cichlid, like that one, or all obviously there's all the different cribs, and there's the Enigmatochromis leucanusi, which or leucanusi, which is very cool, beautiful little blue and purple fish. Yeah, there's just it's just about what's popular. And I think, one, if you have a colony of cichlids, and curviceps are one that you could have a pair, but you probably want a community colony. And to have a community colony of 3.5, 4 inch long fish when fully grown, I mean, you're gonna probably need a 40 breeder or more. And I think that just 20 gallons, 10 gallons, 15s has been such a more common range lately with the nanofish and just people with first tanks and stuff like that. Elaine says, my scuds and Daphne are struggling, but my detritus worms and cyclops are doing well. I put 3 newborn guppies in with them, and I finally got them out at 8 weeks. Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, that sounds like a nice, healthy tank. I found a video of the evolution of domestic. Oh, thank you, assistant. The the video about shrimp being domesticated and where Caridina shrimp, where and how. I worked literally for years on that video. I worked probably a few hundred hours on that video. And then waited for the report to come out before I published it, knowing that something would change when the DNA stuff all came back. And it did. So I'm glad I waited. But the neocaridina videos were made like 6 years ago, and then I had been waiting to do the ones on the caridina. But I worked pretty hard on that, and I also got permission from Chris Lukoff and a number of other, amazing world travelers, Ivan Mikolji and Grant Eater. So shrimp people, I got permission to use stuff in that video that was pretty cool too. Let's see here. What's going on? Clinton Ford, hello and welcome. Passing Wind, hello. And also, who else? Snook Een. You need floaters to protect your FEY. What does that mean? My fish. But they grow really fast and I'm always removing them. Yeah, well, floating plants are a catch-22 that way. I like red root floaters because they grow fast, but you can scoop them out easily, and that's that. Salvinia is kind of in the middle of that range. Water lettuce is pretty easy, but the thing is, water lettuce, the tentacles of the roots, they'll melt frequently, or the plant will turn yellow and just rot, and it just stinks like cabbage in a tank if you let it go too long. So I think it's got some nasty ammonia levels as well. It's a chunky plant that humans eat cousins of it, and maybe even that giant one in the Amazon. I'm not sure. Outside in aquatics, I appreciate that, my buddy. You and Dan's Fish are the two channels that use real science in your videos. Thank you. Yeah, I try to find the experience and what people that I, have learned to say, wow, they know what's going on. They pay attention to their tanks and they have done this a while, or they're just very astute. Maybe they're new, but they're astute. And then they tell me something's going on. Then I go try to dig through the nomenclature on, sometimes it's just this overly complicated mess. And you want to find a paper that's like, do fish hormones stunt the growth of other fish when they're in a tank that's too small, for instance, or too crowded? Trying to find that, you'd have to look up something, like the I'm trying to think how they would phrase that. Probably, it would be like endocrine disruptors impact on population density and uh, fish development in aquatic husbandry of tilapia, or something like that. So I just try to read everything that's coming out that's new and related to aquarium or food fish. Fish that are freshwater and being farmed is another one that I look at a lot too. Bobby Boko, right on. What's up? Watching at 2:21 a.m. in the UK. Cheers to you. I hope you get some sleep tonight. I had a lot of nights, like 4 or 5 in a row, with terrible sleep from back pain and just, I don't know, anxiety, tension, whatever it was. And last night, after Thanksgiving dinner and eating a bunch of lasagna that my wife made, and just seeing my parents for a little bit and hanging out with my wife, I fell asleep on the living room floor before my parents even left, like just as we were done with dinner. And I slept. I got up and moved a few times, but then I slept basically from then until 5 a.m., which for me is incredible. That is like a new record. Hygrorhiza aristata is the easiest to get rid of, says Luke. Interesting. Good to know. Right on. Stephen White. Seville. Overseas in Europe, or like, is there one in the US or Canada that I don't know about? Or are you in a car, a Seville? Mick, what's going on? Oh, okay. Mick has an interesting comment. Hey, everybody, what's going on? The Dorsigera came into the hobby and outcompeted Curviceps. When breeding them, you only get $2 a fish, and now they're almost forgotten and not the most colorful. Yeah, that's true. They're not super colorful. It's more of a behavior thing, kind of like it's actually a little weird that Shelleys are popular, because there's lots of incredible fish and fish behaviors out there, but people don't seem to allow that to make up for the color and that kind of stuff nearly as much as I would expect, because I think behavior is worth more than color in my mind. Um, Thank you so much, Betta Guppy Gal. It does make it all better. And thank you. And you're a member too. I mean, come on, don't be hard on yourself. That's so kind of you for the super chat. We got another buck down in the history books. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Outside in aquatics, the Ivankara Adokta, very beautiful. Um, the zebra acaras, I guess, as they're called, very cool. The latacara are really cool too. Some of the black line ones and stuff like that are real small and skinny. Nanochromis is another group of cichlids that I absolutely love. Q Aquatics, what's going on? Jean-Pierre Lenoir, hello. Greetings from Quebec. Greetings, hello. Ça va? Let's see here. Oh, those Latacar are cool looking. Yeah, definitely. Okay, guys. Well, let's go take a little feeding detour. Yeah, does that sound okay? I don't care if it sounds okay. That's what we're doing. We're gonna go feed. Oh, I should tell you guys two more things, or I won't be doing my job, obviously. Aquatic Arts is selling tanks and other things for 25% off right now, just for Black Friday weekend. It's stuff that they didn't sell off during that big sale where it was 30% plus whatever it was marked down. So some things were up to 50% off. And thank you so much to those of you who used the code. But due to how well that sale went, they are going to allow you guys, me, our customer code of Fishery15, all in caps, Fishery15, to last year round. So you can get 15% off as many times as you want now. And if they see that you're part of the channel, they are aware, like, oh, let's throw in some stickers, or let's throw in a little bit of extra this or that. They're going to be trying to do some of that. Hopefully, they're going to actually get a stack of stickers that I have created that I'll be having on the website too soon. And here I'll show you guys what they look like, what one of them looks like. There's going to be several, but there'll be some stickers that I will be putting around for sale online, and might have some exclusive ones that are just for when I bump into folk. All right, let's see here. Where is this? Also, the other thing is Dan's Fish. We're going to have now a consistent 10% off, I believe it is. So that's pretty cool too, for new users. And then is it 5 or 10%? I can't recall. It's changed a couple times because Bob Steenfot has negotiated it actually for the two of us. And speaking of him, I'm really trying hard to get the Wet Spot Tropicals in on a discount code, because if we could get them also, we would have like any fish you could want, basically. I could vouch for a place that I think does it decent and ethically. Could be expensive. That's not part of the equation necessarily, but there's a place that will have it for folks that live out in the middle of nowhere. When for the folks that can't get out to stores and things, like those are very invaluable sources for sure. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is going to be one of them, and then we're going to do a Corridora, I will believe, two Corridoras. But this is a betta with a top hat, a monocle, and a pip. But I'm thinking about doing like also a fish riding a penny farthing, like a big old bike. Vinoski Tanks, what's up, buddy? Firehap, what's up? Yeah, Seville, Spain, yeah, right on. Very cool. There's a couple Italian guys that have killifish from the Spanish peninsula out there. They're pretty rad. House of Sass, what's going on? Welcome. Jose, ole, what's going on, my friend? Thank you, buddy. You don't need to do that, but I appreciate it, and I'm happy you did. No, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Also, in other news, we will have Chris Lukop coming on sooner or later. It was his idea. He was like, "Hey, let's do something." And I was like, "Sure. Aren't you busy?" And he's like, "No, let's make something work." And then he's like, "Set it up." And then the morning before or the night before, he was like, "Actually, I got to go do a photo shoot for a book I'm working on. Sorry, I'll probably be free the week after." So hopefully this coming week we'll get Chris on here, and questions for him are appreciated too if you have any. Let's see here. Who did the gifted memberships? That was very kind. Oh wait, here. YFI. Thank you so much, man. That is wild. Thank you. Fins and Fungi. Oh, I like that name too. What's up, Alex? Nice to have you back. Thank you. Be careful with that name. Uh, wouldn't want to show any mushrooms or anything. Oh, Patty, what do you have going on? I haven't much. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just don't know much about that. Luis or Luis Carlos Herrera. Any tips for checkered barbs? I think ideally what they like is they like actually like fairly neutral water, but with a little bit of hardness, if I recall. You can double check that, but it's because they're used to the flood seasons in South East Asia and India, the Indian subcontinent. And, sorry, guys, my back's just hurting. And they're used to that, and the limestone earth that's so common there as bedrock that filters through the mountains and things adds a lot of minerality to the water, even though the water itself is from the massive monsoon season mostly. So yeah, a little bit of hardness in the water or a little bit of TDS, depending on where you live and how your tap water is. If you have like a TDS of 200 or 300 out of the tap, probably don't need to do anything. But if you're like me and you have a 30 to 50 at the hardest time of the year for water and as low as 15 or 20 here, definitely don't need to worry about adding something. You won't overdo it. Let's see here. Michael Farmer, what's up? Yeah, we got lots of Europeans watching tonight. Don't y'all sleep ever? I'd like to see you doing a video setting up your tank from scratch. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. Father Fish and I are also gonna do a version of that where we then critique one another of the pluses and minuses we see in one another's styles. But the uh whole like showing video getting set up mostly for the substrate sense of things, the hardscape, substrate, and plants. I have done that both in time lapse, in real time, during live streams. Usually I call it aquascaping a tank in the videos, especially the older ones. I'll say aquascaping new tank or building new tank. And I've done it probably 15 times, different times. One is, how to build uh, um, how to build a balanced ecosystem in a vase, bowl, or jar, or tank. Another one is like hardscape or substrate and hardscape on my Iwagumi tank. Another one is deep substrate, aquascape. So there's a few out there, but yeah, I do want to kind of do another one, a newer one that's obvious to the point. There's also live streams too, but yeah. Um, Mercedes, thank you very kindly. You look like, uh, yeah, I feel as tired as you look. Yeah, and today I've been doing a lot better than the last few. So yeah. Um, yeah, no, the acidic water is fine. I'm just saying that a lot of the barbs do come from very muddy rivers that have quite a bit of silt and stuff in them. And it even though the alkalinity is pretty neutral, the pH is pretty neutral, like rainwater itself is, or it could even be mildly acidic. It has some hardness or some minerality to it. Yeah. Um, but they're also a fish, checkered barbs, you name it, Odessa barbs. They're all going to be very used to captivity for the most part. So yeah, they'll they'll adapt to most things. Just that's the ideal. Um, yeah, I would agree that this is somewhat accurate. Father Fish tries to dumb down his advice for beginners, so that the things he says are in videos are simplified to the point of error sometimes. Yeah, I would agree. I've talked with him about that, and it's definitely he's aware of that too. And he's like, yeah, but since I started doing that, he's gotten 80,000 subscribers in 4 or 5 months. So he's kind of just like, oh, well, I'm going to do what makes the money. Beta and Guppy Gal, thank you very much also for the 99 cent chat. It popped up again, so I don't know if you did another one or what is going on, but thank you. Andrea, Valentine, or Valentine, what is going on? Welcome. Joe West, hello. Thank you very much, buddy. Let's see here. Just checking out what y'all are saying. Xander Finley, I just got gifted a membership. Thank you. Yeah, you can thank either FY. I'm gonna mess up the acronym, buddy. FYP. FIY. I don't know what is the acronym. I'm gonna get it wrong, buddy. Or you can probably also thank Jeff Kane just as easily for that. Donna Arnold, what's going on? Welcome. I like seeing fresh faces in here, guys. It's really nice. I'm trying to get to most of your comments and things, but things get by. Wi-Fi. Oh, Wi-Fi. I get it. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. That makes so much more sense now. Yeah, I get it. Any advice on breeding, Salvini? Um, you can do the false water change thing, but my main advice would be once they've established as a colony, you got a male and female or a pair that you want to work with. I think the best thing to do is to feed them a lot of like live baby brine if you have it, and to give them like black worms, bloodworms, things like that if you have it also. Those are really great. Live if possible, but frozen works too. Tubifex worms can work too. And then what I would do is uh, the kind of false wet season thing. So let some of the water for 2 or 3 weeks evaporate off of the tank naturally with the water at say 82 degrees or 84 degrees even maybe. Yeah, probably at those warmer temps from the Guianan Shield area and stuff where they're found. And then what you do is you do a big water change and you take out like another 20%. So you do like a total of 40% water change. 20% is evaporated off. 20% is changed out of the tank, and a total of 40 is put in with low TDS water. If you have that in the tap, great. If not, maybe go get some RO water or some drinking water, rainwater, whatever it may be. But then you put that in and you turn the temperature down on that water to like say 65 or 70. And then when it mixes with the other water, you'll drop the tank from say 84, 82 Fahrenheit, it drops it down to say 78 or 77. And that a lot of times is the trigger of like the monsoon, the wet season. And the last little tip that I have is if you can get any other fish breeding in the same water as that fish, like cories or heck, even like guppies, honestly, but kind of different water conditions, I know. But get whatever you can breeding in their water, and then they will release hormones that are enticing and stimulating for that sort of thing. And give them just lots of good habitat to put their eggs on and to build like a little area to hang out and pick different spots, not just caves, but like overhanging ledges of a piece of rock or whatever works great. Yeah. So those are the things I'd most recommend. And the other thing is if you can feed like live baby brine shrimp or very small infusoria, even stuff that's so small that the fish may not even eat it, your cichlids might not eat it as adults, but they see it in the water say a week or two before you want them to spawn. And a lot of times that will also be kind of part of their checklist of, well, my babies have food, they'll have food because a lot of fish want to know that there are those tiny food sources or algae or little critters, whatever it may be. They want to make sure that that is there if they're going to put all that energy, risk, time, and all that into the dancing and the mating and the nesting and all of that. So that's a step that sometimes people don't think about or whatnot, but it holds true not just for cichlids, but for a lot of other fish as well. Dan the man, what's up? Freeman, what's up? Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Poochoo Bird, what's going on? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, and to everyone here if you didn't catch it earlier. But I really do appreciate it. The kind words there and the super chat, my friend. But I hope everybody had a nice day yesterday and continue to have a nice weekend and a nice life. I hope you all have a nice life. Have a nice life. What is Fission Tactics? What's going on, buddy? Where do your nitrates sit at for plants? Michael, honestly, a lot of my tanks sit at 0, but ideally, if there were no plants in there, it'd be making slash building up around 5 to 10 parts per million every day or two of nitrates. But when you load a tank the way I like to ideally load them, it will no longer do that. It'll eat it before there can even be an issue registering with it. So yeah, but that's just my personal taste. Some people say let it ride at 50, for instance. I like the effect of trace amounts of iron and zinc, magnesium, manganese, and did I say iron. But that's to get those super red, interesting looking, plants and stuff. Oh, holy smokes! Yeah, Father Fish is a friend. He's a friend of mine in the fish hobby. He and I think very differently about the world and conspiracies and life and stuff. But he and I also get along really well, and I have learned from him. I would hope he's learned from me. We've exchanged thoughts, and I would consider myself lucky to know him so well. We talk on the regular, as they say. Yeah, it's very interesting to see the channel just explode like it did. He hired people to do some editing and other things for him, and the content's always been great, but it was a little, filmed on a phone or filmed on a camera that's not the best. The audio, it's kind of like me, right? And when that just got kind of polished and the thumbnails got a little bit clickbaitier, a little more provocative, I think his channel just really took off. So yeah. Let's see here. Joe West, holy cannoli. 89, is that New Zealand dollars? Yes. I'm from New Zealand, so I never get the chance to watch your lives, but I've watched so many of your videos and have learned so much from you. Your wealth of knowledge, and we are grateful. Thank you so much, my friend. That means so much, with or without the money, but I'll take the money if you're offering. Thank you so very much. I mean, that's really, really so generous. Thank you. Uh, let's see here. This maybe Doctor 5 years though. I don't go to it, but that, and it'll demonetize the stream. But I guess I did by force at one point, like 15 years ago. But it's been 14. Other than that, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Fishery, will liquid iron supplement like easy iron be sufficient to compensate for not having iron in the substrate? Yeah, totally. Um, a lot of people think that the plants need a lot of iron. And honestly, well, okay, actually, let me roll that back. I just realized I kind of spoke too soon. You'll want to, if you can, take some easy liquid iron or whatever, which has very low amounts of iron, to be honest. But put that into some ice cubes, like go get some tank water so it's nice and safe. Then just pump as much of the easy iron as you can into it. Put it in the freezer, and then put that freezer cube, like make a freezer ice cube or a few of them, and then you can use tweezers or your hand and just tuck that deep into the substrate if you're doing a deep substrate sand cap tank, because that sulfur trace amounts of it, which you'll get organically, but a lot of people like to add that. Or old time fish keepers, they used to add a rusty nail, for instance, like an old nail, for building a house. Man, sorry guys, the allergies after holding that cat. But the reason for that is to help with the anoxic bacteria, which creates nitrous oxide as one of its the things that it expels, and also water and oxygen and carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and oxygen too, or O2, and all of that is yeah, very very overlooked, I think, by some people because they think that it's just there for the plants, but it's not. In fact, a lot of plants, when you starve them of the iron, as long as they have just enough to get by, so they're not dying from a lack of their trace minerals, as long as they have a little bit of those nutrients, and then they've got very low amounts of nitrates as well, those will turn beautiful reds in many cases. A lot of people used to think it was the iron that did that, and it's not so much. The iron helps in making those pigments and things, um, but it's not the end all be all. I guess I'll say it that way. Just Joe, how long after a tank is established can I quit using root tabs? 40 breeder with 100 pounds of placement. Well, that's kind of up to you. You don't need root tabs in a tank if it's got lots of fish and they're doing their thing, making waste, or from the other plants, the fish food, stuff like that. You will get enough nutrients to grow slow and green plants, Valsinaria, crypts, a lot of crypts anyways. Easy things, right? But if you want to grow beautiful red sword plants or rarer crypt plants or anything highlight like in the stem plant world, then that's where you probably want to keep adding root tabs whenever they dissolve, and or if you make sure that you see that they're not impacting nitrates in your water column, that it's good to put new ones in, but it's kind of up to you. How do you manage your water going too acidic if you are not doing regular water changes? How do you manage your water going too acidic? So in all my aquariums, I have Aquachar, which is linked in the description, by the way. Aquachar will help remove any any dissolved material in your water from nitrates, nitrites, and it's just basically a big Swiss cheese surface area, like a matrix, like a sponge, for beneficial bacteria, but also activated charcoal will bond with those toxins and with some of the troublesome medications and things you may use. Uh, and so it's useful for that. And then in that case, I can. So if you're saying, how do you manage your water going too acidic? It's buffered also by the aqua soil, and with the charcoal, the aqua soil, and then usually some crushed coral or crushed shells. Usually I add a cup per 10 gallons and just mix it amongst the top of the sand substrate or the top of the aqua soil, and it works pretty well. All right, let's see here. Corey, look up their breeding, or Carrie, look up their breeding habits. The male guards the eggs, the female just lay eggs and leaves. The male needs time to recoup and fatten up. Oh yeah, talking about reverse trios and things, why you need that probably. I've Cora, what's going on? Thank you, buddy. Yeah, hit the like button. Am I going to restore my... Wait, if you don't do that, Alex is going to sacrifice your YouTube channel in a shamanic ritual to restore youth to his own channel. Yeah, that's right. That is how I do it. This is how I do it. This is how we do it. Atita, hello. Jim's Fish, what's up? 101 viewers, only 82 thumbs up. Please do it. Yeah, otherwise, what are you doing here, guys? Come on. You hate watching? Well, soak it all up because I love you guys. Don't care if you hate me. Oh, I'm probably going to get. There was music playing on TV in another room for my wife, and I was like, oh no, it's going to copyright strike me. You know what? I was going to feed the beast. I was going to feed all this stuff on video live, but you know what? It's not the best quality video live, and I think maybe I'll make a video in the spirit of Thanksgiving, and I will feed the tanks and give you guys the best shots, like set up actual with the tripod and stuff, and the HD and the Glyven, and just set that up and share that with you guys sooner than later. Probably tomorrow, next day, something like that. A video called like Thanksgiving in the fish room or something. You know, feeding, fish giving. I don't know, something like that. But guys, I'm going to get out of here. I am fading a bit. My back pain is getting really bad, honestly. And I just need to change kind of the ergonomics. But thank you so much for coming out, for hanging out on a Friday night. I think Lucas Brett's should be up and rolling and everything. So if you're interested in watching LRB Aquatics, tell him I say hi. I might hop over there in a bit too. But yeah, just hashtag Alex says hi. And there goes my wife, my wifey poo, and my kitty poo, and my fish's poo, and pooey poo. But I think I'm going to eat some leftover lasagna. That's what we had for Thanksgiving. And there is a new video out on water changes. And that was on the note of the father fish thing and of my own and of Lucas Brett's. But a lot of people have been watching videos or seeing just titles of videos. And they're like, oh, never do a water change again. Cool, I can never do a water change again. And that's the end of it. Or deep sand substrate. Okay, I'll just do a deep sand substrate. And to them, that's 2 inches or whatever of just sand. And there's no nutrients, no root tabs. And it's like, oh, there's a lot of caveats to these things. You got to watch the 25-minute description of what to do if you want to try these things. And you can't just mix pieces from one thing and another thing always. Sometimes you need to understand the processes. And then once you do, then you can kind of play with it and so forth. Oh, nice. You got Keystone Clash tickets already? Wow, you are on the ball and right on. Anyways, yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend. There's a chance I may come back and say hello for a reason or not. But in any case,
Are we watching tonight, then?
I think we're watching Barbie tonight, as I guess my wife needs me to tell you that, guys. So isn't that like a 3-hour movie? Probably. Pibblepunk, what a fun name. Pibblepunk the Ape Activist. Yeah, you all have a great weekend. I hope you're doing well. Yeah. Oh, House of Sass got hers too. Right on. Am I going to the Keystone Clash? Just what? Yeah. I hope so. It's still a ways off. I've been asked to speak at a couple things around that time. So if there's a reason to be out there then and talk to a couple clubs and then go to that, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to go. It's going to just depend on money and scheduling and stuff at the end of the day. But I hope I am. We'll see. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourself. Do your stretches before you work out, or go for a walk, or stand up. In my case, freaking back is the sciatic in my back is so gnarly right now. I've been leaning forward looking at all of you guys rather than sitting because it feels like a rubber band. The nerve is a rubber band that someone's plinking, and it feels like just a hot poker up a string. Anyways, do your stretches. I'm going to do mine. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. enjoy your fish, and stay tuned for new content and so forth. And if you're into it, check back. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted about the clash. Most definitely. Fish Hippie 39, what's up? Hello. Remember to get home before you go to bed. Yes, that is for sure. Good night, everyone in Europe and everyone here. And everyone, good night, everyone. Good night, Moon. Signing off. I'll talk to you guys later. Much love. Thank you so much to all of you, to the super chatters. In the future, to you watching this in the future, just everybody. You guys, I'm so lucky to know you, to have and to know. I'll see you guys later. Bye.